إن أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والاشتراك في القناة.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Any non-Muslim lady?
But we have a reverse sister. So if the chairperson permits, could we allow her?
Okay, we'd allow that.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mariam Sharif. I am from Ireland and a physical therapist by profession. Alhamdulillah, I got a chance to accept Islam. But my question is, my father never got the chance, and shirk is the biggest sin. And I want to know if there is a specific dua or something I can read on his name so that his sin will be forgiven.
Sister asked the question that Alhamdulillah, she has accepted Islam, and she says that unfortunately her father, he died as a mushrik. So can I read any dua, anything in his name so that sin can be forgiven? Sister, the Quran says in Surah Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 48, Surah Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 116, that if Allah pleases, He may forgive any sin. But the sin of shirk, He will never forgive. Because a person who has done shirk has committed the most heinous sin. So if the person is doing shirk and before he dies, if he repents, inshallah Allah will forgive. But if he dies as a mushrik, he is destined for hell. There is no other option. And this is also narrated in the Quran. When Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim, when he prays for his father, who was a mushrik, then a verse was revealed that when the person is alive, you can ask Allah to give hidayah to your parents, to your father, to your mother, to your brother. May Allah guide them to the straight path. But if they die as a mushrik, and if you know they die as a mushrik, you cannot pray for them. You can only pray that, oh my God, oh my Lord Allah, make from my offsprings Muslims who will submit their will to Allah. And this is the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. His father also was a mushrik. But he does a dua in Surah Ibrahim, chapter number 14, the last few verses. He prays that make my offsprings those who would submit their will to Allah, who will be Muslims. And we find that both his children, Ishmael alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam, both of them became messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what I request to you, sister, you make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may your offsprings be the ones who will submit their will to Allah and be on the straight path. Hope that answers the question.
Jazakallah.
Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Talha Nusrat and I'm a student. Before starting, sir, first of all, I would like to thank you because...
Are there any other non-Muslims? Are there any other non-Muslim like to ask a question? They're most welcome to come on the microphone. Any non-Muslim like to ask a question, whether from the gents or from the sisters? This is the opportunity. Any questions on the topic women's rights in Islam? Or any questions on Islam and comparative religion? This is the opportunity. Any non-Muslim like to ask a question? They're most welcome. If not, we allow the Muslims. But in between, if they feel, they can come on the microphone and they can jump the queue. That's the prerogative.
Yes, brother.
Yeah. First of all, sir, I would like to thank you because I have become a better human being, and not only a better human being, but a better Muslim because of you. And undoubtedly, it is Allah who provides the heed, but for me, you were the source of that heed. And my question is that I have read in glorious Quran that in previous time, during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, men were allowed to keep female slaves, and they were allowed to have that intimate relationships with them without the nikah. And the offsprings were also considered to be legitimate. So, I mean, wasn't it any kind of degradation of the honor of the women? And were women allowed to do that, or this privilege was only confined to men?
Brother asked the question that at the time of the Prophet, there were women who were slave women, and you were allowed to have sex with them even without marrying. So why was it allowed? What is the privilege? And is the vice versa permitted or not? There are many verses in the Quran which say that you can have sex with whom those are your wife and what your right hand possesses. Right hand possesses means They were the slaves. And at the time of the Prophet, the wars used to take place. And when wars used to take place, there were captives. When they were captives from both the sides, the men and the women, they became slaves. Though if you analyze, there are verses in the Quran, which also says in Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 25, if you do not have the means to get married, then marry a slave woman and give her freedom in mahr. That if you don't have the means to get married. So marry a slave woman and give her freedom as mahr. So here it's encouraging that...
Although the slavery has been abolished,
Brother, you asked a question. Your question is over.
it is correlated actually.
You cannot correlate. You have to go behind the queue to correlate. You asked the question, we heard your question, it was long. If we start correlating always, non-Muslims are allowed. Muslims, you can go behind the queue, no problem. If we start correlating, we'll be able to handle very few questions. For non-Muslims, I'm a bit more lenient. So now the thing is that, so it's preferable to marry. Vice versa, it's not possible. It is only for the female women slaves that the man can have sex. The Quran doesn't say the vice versa. And this again, if you analyze, that if you see, at that time promiscuity was very common. Promiscuity and having sex outside the bond very common. So Islam has brought it in stages. Like as alcohol was very common, the first verse of the Quran of Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 219 says that in alcohol there is profit and loss. Loss is more than profit. The next verse was revealed in Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse 43 that do not pray with your mind befogged. Means when you're praying, don't have intoxicants. Finally the ban came in Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse number 90 that alcohol is banned. So here, first Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibits any other sex. Only two people allowed. Your wives and that which your right hand possesses. Now in this age, we don't have, any wars. It may take place. People say that the Quran talks about slavery. Is it justified? I said, yes, why not? You know why? Because today we know that internationally slavery has been banned. But do you know what's happening in Guantanamo Bay? Do you know the laws of UN resolution? How they treat the prisoners of war? If you compare that with the Islamic law is far superior to what's happening in Guantanamo Bay. And after a few days, we have a speaker coming by the name of James E. He's a Chinese. And he was put in Guantanamo Bay. He will give you a story. So do attend that talk. So if you see what is done in Guantanamo Bay, and the way the prisoners of war are ill-treated, they're imprisoned. In the Islamic law, the slave is free to move around. Imagine, prisoner of war, but free to move around. Great. Major thing, you're giving them a place to walk. They can go to the market, they cannot run away. But if they run, what are you going to do? You'll have to catch up with them. But imagine a prisoner of war is not chained. In the normal prisoner of war, you have prison camps with electric wires, they can't go out. All sorts of nonsense goes there, All sorts of sexual abuse goes there. Do you know that? What nonsense goes? So, the Islamic law, even if I agree, how they treat the slave is far superior than the UN Charter. Far superior than Guantanamo Bay. But in Islam disagrees with having sex outside the marital bonds. So just as a restriction, it was permitted that time, what your right hand possesses. But preferable is, as it goes further, that give their freedom in mahr and have sex with them, that's preferable. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, brother.
My name is Anand. By profession, I am an interior designer. I want to ask, can a Muslim girl marry a non-Muslim boy?
The brother asked the question that can a Muslim girl marry a non-Muslim boy? As I said that a Muslim boy cannot marry a non-Muslim girl until she believes. The same verse I quoted, Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse number 221 says, do not marry a non-believing woman until she believes. A believing woman who's a bondswoman is far superior to a non-believing woman even if she allows you. The same verse continues, do not marry a non-believing man, a mushrik man, until he believes. A believing man, even if he's a slave man, a bondsman, is far superior to a mushrik man, an unbelieving man, even if he allows you. He may be the most handsome man in the world, he may be the wealthiest man in the world, but a believing man is far superior than an unbelieving man. So even the vice versa is the same, that a Muslim woman cannot marry a non-Muslim man until he believes. Once he accepts Islam, then very well she can marry him. The same example of a car, that all the four tires should be same, one of a bicycle and the other of a truck, it will not work. Because the life partners, if you really love your wife, you would want her to go to Jannah. If the Muslim woman loves the husband, she would want the husband to go to Jannah. This life is temporary. So imagine you marry someone and you know that spouse is going to go to hell. So what's the use? So first you get confirmation that he becomes a Muslim. He agrees there's one God and the final messenger is Prophet Muhammad. Then there are chances that both will have the best of this world and the hereafter. Hope that answers the question.
Anyone on the sister's mic?
Yes, brother.
Hello, good evening, sir. I'm Sadia Akram. I'm a first year student of business management studies. My question is that you said that Muslim girls are prohibited the professions of acting, modeling and dancing. Does the same apply for men, Muslim men?
The sister asked the question that I said that profession which exhibit the body, like dancing, like modeling, film acting, is it prohibited for men also? In these cases of film acting, modeling, if it goes against the Quran and Sharia, it is prohibited. For example, a Muslim man, models for some suit. As long as there's nothing haram in that ad, it's permitted. If something haram, if he models for black dog, whiskey, or champagne or alcohol, it's haram. Similarly, if he's acting, if in acting he's showing that he's a non-Muslim, doing idol worship, it is haram. Many of the Muslim actors, they behave like non-Muslim and they do shirk. Haram. Let him be anyone. Let him be the best actor in the world. His acting will take him to Jahannam. His acting will take him to Jahannam. But he's acting and doing a good role, not running after women, running around trees. If all this nonsense is the hijab is broken, it's haram. Otherwise, simple thing, without any haram activity, not breaking the hijab, following the Quran and Sunnah, making films which are Islamic, which will get a person closer towards Jannah, closer towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's perfectly fine. So as long as what they are doing, acting and modeling, if it comes within the purview of the Islamic Sharia, it's permitted, otherwise it's haram. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is, now the age of combined study, so is it permitted to study in field of medical? Because for women, so because most of 99% is we face non-mahram.
Brother has a question that is co-education permitted, especially in medical colleges, correct? If a woman wants to become a doctor and there is no single-sex medical college, is it permitted? If the cause is there, the Islamic Sharia says, let a small loss take place to prevent a big loss. So now that lady, if she goes in a co-ed college of medicine and there's no single-sex college, it will be difficult for her to maintain a hijab, but she can. She can, not that she can't. She'll have to maintain a hijab. In medical colleges, the atmosphere is the worst. I've been to a medical college. MashaAllah, Allah saved me. Otherwise, medical college atmosphere is the worst in terms of breaking the hijab. Worst. And it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, MashaAllah, who can save you. Otherwise, the medical colleges, the girls and the boys, they have groups, they have to examine the patient, they stay overnight. It's very dangerous. If Allah is with you, inshallah can be on the straight path. So for a woman, if she goes to a medical college, she has to yet maintain a hijab. And in the college that I was, there were Muslim women who maintained it. Not all of them, but there were one or two who maintained the hijab. Maintained the hijab. see to it that if you have to, suppose if the patient is common and you have to take a common history with another gent, you have to take the common history of the patient, maybe the colleague is a gent, fine. When you talk, lower your gaze, not, oh, how are you? How is the movie? Did you see the movie? No, all common. Oh, let's go for a spin. Let's go for a drive on the bike. So all these things if you avoid, and see to it that if you have to talk with your colleague, you can talk with lowering your gaze, though the people will not like it. So she has to maintain a hijab. It's very much possible. As for examining the patient of opposite sex, the Quran and the Sahih Hadith give permission. Why? Because you're treating the patient. So doctor can see the opposite sex if required. Best is same sex, same doctor. Best. But you don't have it everywhere. That's the reason we have initiated in our activities in the United Islamic Aid a new activity called as Free Medical Center. So we have started recently, which will inaugurate after this conference. Sheikh Salah Budair, the Imam of Masjid Nabwi, will be inaugurating our center in Mumrah on the 10th of November, inshallah, 2 days after the conference. The uniqueness of this center, it is on the lines of Quran and Sunnah. Means, lady doctor will examine lady patients. Gent doctor will examine gent patient. Is the area 2,000 square feet? Separate waiting area for ladies, separate for gents. Children can go where they want, no problem if they are young. But lady doctor will check ladies, and inshallah, we aim to have only MBBS doctors and MD, so that they're more professional. Everything air conditioned, but free. Good quality medicine. And inshallah, when I started this center, I'm a medical doctor, I intend to give better treatment in this free center than the own medical clinic that I have got. I've left my profession. My brother and my father, mashallah, they're doctors, and they're running a center which is good, but there we charge. That's the bread and butter. We charge money. But inshallah, in this free medical center, inshallah, we'll give better services, inshallah, than the own medical clinic that we have for our bread and butter, inshallah. Fully air conditioned, inshallah. Good waiting room. Hygienic, but free. Those who can't afford it, free. Anyone can come, even Muslims and non-Muslims can come. And in the waiting room, we won't have Stardust magazine, we won't have Filfare magazine, we'll have Islamic books. We'll have Islamic satellite channels. People have, you go to a high caliber doctor, Filmfare magazine, Stardust. So besides them getting cured by the diseases, inshallah, even the iman will get cured. Huwa Shafi, it's Allah who cures. So, what we believe, that if you want to do medicine, if there's no single-sex college, you can, but you have to maintain your hijab, become a doctor, so that more hijab can be maintained. Once that lady doctor becomes, Muslimah becomes a doctor, she will allow many other women to follow the hijab. Hope that answers the question.
We'll allow only 2 more questions, one on that mic and the last question from this mic. And we have only 5 minutes left for Dr. ذاكر to answer those. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. I am rewarded. My name is Abdullah Sheikh. Before it was a Shushan Kumar Mandal. I am from Panvel. But there is one question regarding Allahu Akbar, which I am always, I have read the Quran and I came to know that there is a Jannat, which I am trying to go Jannat directly. For that I have to follow the Hadith and Quran. But when I have read the Hadith and Quran, I came to know that I have to follow total Sunnat, which Sunnat has tried to put me down because of my mother. And my mother asked me to remove my beard, my cap, and all Sunnat. She wants me to be like an Indian guy. She says me, you have to pray Allah in your heart, not by Salah. And this always Hindu always try to put me like this. You do what we say. Shall I have to do like this, or I have to leave the house, or I have to stay other?
MashaAllah. Brother asked a very good question. Allah gave him hidayah. He became a Muslim. He realized that following Quran and Sunnah will give him to Jannah. When he read the Hadith, he followed the Sunnah. He wore a cap, he covered his hair, he sported a beard, but his mother says, remove the beard, remove the cap. What should I do? The verses I quoted of Surah Luqman chapter number 31 verse number 14, that we have enjoined on the human beings to be kind to the parents. In travail upon travail did the mother bore them, but in pain did she give birth. Immediately next verse says, Surah Luqman chapter 31 verse number 15, but if your parents force you to worship somebody besides Allah, of which you have no knowledge, then do not obey them. Yet live with them with love and compassion. The same message repeated in Surah Ankabut, chapter number 29, verse number 8. We have enjoined on the human beings to be kind to the parents. But if the parents force them to do something, worship someone besides Allah, of whom they have no knowledge, then don't obey them, but yet live with them with love and compassion. What we realize from Quran and say Hadith, that you have to love your parents, you have to respect them, you have to obey them. But if they tell you something against Allah and His Messenger, that's the only time you can disobey them. But yet love them. So if they tell you to remove the beard, you tell, my dear mother, our beloved Prophet said, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, in the book of death, hadith number 780, that do the opposite of what the pagans do, trim your mustaches and grow the beard. I am following my messenger. And that same messenger said, paradise lies beneath your feet. So if I remove the beard, even my paradise beneath your feet will go. Mother, I love you. Mother, I care for you. Mother, I respect you. That same prophet said that the person that deserves the best love and compassion is your mother. After that, do your mother. After that, do your mother. So if I stop obeying him, I will have to stop respecting you also. Mother, I love you. I respect you. I obey you. As long as you don't go against the person who's taking you to Jannah. That's the prophet. So depending how you speak, what you do, if you were not obedient to your mother before accepting Islam, maybe she told you, okay, wear a blue color shirt. Mother, I don't like blue color. Moment you became a Muslim, mother, I will wear a blue color. What happened to my son? Before he became a Muslim, he used to disobey me. Now he's obeying me. So whatever your mother told you before you became a Muslim, which you never used to follow, the moment you become a Muslim, start following as long as it doesn't go against Allah and His Rasul. You should find a change. Start loving her more. You have to respect her. Suppose she goes to the temple, doing shirk is haram. But the moment she comes out of the temple, it becomes your duty that you take her back home. Because you love her, because you respect her. Even though she is a non-Muslim, yet your paradise lies beneath the feet of your mother. Your mother may not be in paradise, but your paradise yet lies beneath the feet of your mother. Love her, respect her, obey her, until she does not go against Prophet and Rasul. See, there should be a change in your life, and she will respect you. She will also accept your religion. She will even accept the sayings of Prophet Muhammad. Hope that answers the question. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Sir, but there is one problem is that after she has converted into Islam, she accepted my Allah, but he is taking in the back of Allah, she is saying to me, you don't follow what the Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is giving you, the whole structures of the Islam, she is trying to stop. What shall I do? I should leave the house or I should stay away from my mother? Because you told me that in the feet of mother there is a Jannat.
Time is running short. The time is running short. You have to follow, yet love her with compassion, because tell her that the Quran says Atiullah wa Atiur Rasul in Surah Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 59. So Quran says follow the messenger, therefore I am following the messenger, not because somebody else is saying. So to follow the Quran I have to follow the Hadith. You love her, respect her. If she kicks you out of the house, stay out of the house, yet love her.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, brother. We thank all our audience who has so patiently and consistently been coming here and stayed so long. Inshallah, we hope to see you tomorrow morning for our other programs in the forthcoming days. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.